We see that the four priorities of next year that would align with our strategic plans is how do we get back to a healthy state in our membership revenue? So if we were to be at 90% in 3 years, we would start around that 70% where we may have missed the mark due to a lot of variables that were out of our control in this 2021 year. But can we bounce back to a better recovery, more like a 70%, as we keep having the mantra around here, hit the 10.8. You might be hearing that with your transformation directors. We already are having that battle cry. So first and foremost, as you think of recruit, retain, and recapture, the recruit part is how can we lean in together as a team? You as the executive directors, the transformation directors, really everyone, our board, how can we lean into getting to that? And I think surpassing that 10.8 will be really important. We're going to talk about campaign strategy and some things that we're going to do to recruit for next year, and really excited about that front. The second thing is, if we look at achievement, relationship, and belonging, our achievement scores are very high. People come to the Y with that mindset. We're going to do some things to work and improve, and you'll see that in the member process map coming up soon in the deck. But really diving into the idea of groups. We have small group directors. How do we take the magical formula that we have in group exercise, potentially make new offerings and use innovation to empower leaders to facilitate more types of groups? There's so many different ways you could be creative with this. It could be, a senior coffee club. It could be a run club. It could be open basketball. It could be weightlifting. We really are going to work on the menu and how we'll create that for members when they join or current members, but we're going to figure out small groups this year. The third thing is measure and track a cause-driven member. And then in later this year, we're going to define what that means. So let me move on to the next slide because this is an important one. So as we looked at these three buckets, we primarily measure this through Listen 360. We have an achievement question, a relationships question, and a belonging question. But we want to dive deeper this year. So one of the things that we're going to do and find ways to measure it is the weight of how cause-driven or transformed a member is. It's one thing to have that one point from a data point from Listen 360. It's another thing to actually ask, okay, well, they said they understand belonging, but are they truly giving or volunteering? Well, they said they're doing achievement and they're hitting their goals, but are they? And how can we track that to make sure that is true, right? And so that's what I'm the most excited about for next year. As you can see here, you have three different spots that we're going to look for measure points. We're going to look for ways to track. One is how they enroll and join. And are we getting closer to that number that we need to hit the 10.8, but also keeping track of where that number's at. And then we have onboarding and setting a goal. So we know success appointments, especially with how thin our staff are right now, that might not be the best solution. So how can we offer AI and digital solutions to connect with the member right away, keep them on some kind of journey, whether it's digital and probably some in-person visits as well with small groups director, transformation directors, even exec. And then the second bucket is we look at join a group, right? So that's when we're diving into the idea of how do we set up more groups, how do we empower more group leaders, and working with those small group directors. That's the next phase. And our goal is, well, we've gotten through bucket one. They've all got a plan. They've all got goals they're ready to set. How do we now move them into category two where they're connecting with other members? Because at the end of the day, the science says they're more likely to achieve the goals, 95% more likely, when they've connected with others to do it. And so really excited to land in that area and explore and help define that. And we'll define that together this year. Also continuing the challenges, but thinking of ways to innovate people doing the challenges together and actually the members owning the challenge, whether it's through the new app or what have you. But I think in the past we had staff owned that had to get a lot of members. Our goal this year is to get members that own it and love it and want to pass it along to other members. So the weight is not all on our shoulders. And then we get to 3 times a week. That's just an opportunity to look at our scans and see how many members are actually making the Y a regular part of their day. And so we'll be tracking how many members at each branch are at that three time threshold, and really trying to, as we think of silver sneakers as well, how do we make sure we're applying tactics to increase those scans. And then last, belonging. I mentioned this earlier, about 85, we're about 80% belong, say they belong or they understand belonging. Well, how many people are giving? How many people are volunteering? And how can we move in the continuum for the small groups? How do we get them into that belonging stage? So I know that was a lot. I know that was a lot to unpack, but if there's one thing that I could say we're going to lean into heavy, ops, innovation, this is the map that we'll be doing it from. I'll end on just some initial tactics. I know I mentioned some of this stuff before, but obviously to support the strategic plan, I believe we're really doubling down on achievement, relationship, belonging, but we have to go deeper in those 3 areas. We also want to make sure that, like the foundation, most welcoming place, Daxco Engage, all our tools that we used to use and the kind of COVID broke it up, even down to staff attire, we get back into a rhythm of where we once were, because COVID changed us, and we're going to get back to being one of the best Ys in the country. And so I really believe that. And then senior engagement, be working with Nora and some of the transformation directors and small group directors on really helping increase scans around silver sneakers. And then I said AI support. If we're going to do a great onboarding system, we can't rely on the staff to complete thousands of success appointments. We have to be creative in how we onboard a member. He's in some kind of digital journey, but there are human connect points along the way. Hitting 10.8, right? That's with the mantra that we all share together. That's the mantra that keeps us healthy and keeps us working and keeps us going and keeps us where we need to be. And so I'm excited for this next year. There's 2 things, and I think we're doing it extremely well. We can go to the next level, but the 2 things are what the data's telling us is that, 1, people are looking for more than fitness. They're looking for mental health. They're looking for spiritual development. COVID has changed the way they see wellness. And we've been doing that for 177 years. So we have that to our advantage. They also are talking about a hybrid experience of digital and gym. So they're going to come back to the gym. That's good news for us. But they have to have a in-sync digital and hybrid experience. And that's what I believe the challenge is, and small groups, we're working towards that. So if we can figure that part out this year, I think it's going to set us up for really good success around retention, attrition, keeping members along, and not losing them because we don't want to lose any members that are a part of our cause. We need all that we can get. And so thank you for this time. Have a great day. And bye-bye.